and we are good. Good morning. Happy Thursday. How is everyone? Lynn Hall Taylor says, love your hair. What a very lovely way to start this conversation, and I appreciate that very much. Good morning. Good morning. You know, part of this whole conversation that we're going to be having today is going to be based on age. The comments we get on age, what is expected of us with age. So a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are going to be incorporated in more than just Doc Martens. All right. It is going to be, it's going to be everything encompassing. So again, our main subject today is going to be in a reaction to that comment that I got. It was somebody on YouTube. Good morning, Linda. And it was somebody on YouTube who straight up was like, you're too old. You're too old for overalls and you're too old for Doc Martens. And I'm like, and you are just boring. I think that was how I responded. I'm like, you're boring. And it is such a boring, outdated way to look. I mean, it is just like, I don't know. That was like, 1993's calling, and here's your dig. I mean, it's like, hello, welcome to 2023. You know what? We're independent. We could do whatever we want. Lynn says, I thought about having my hair really short. I'm 57. See, I think, I see, here's the thing is, hello, Nish. How are you, my friend? And welcome. So here's the thing about hair and age. A lot of times I get a lot of comments like, you know what? I'm like this age. I'm thinking about letting my hair go long. You know what? I'm this age. I'm thinking about having it go short. I'm going to tell you 100% right now, you need to ask that question and leave your age out of it. All right. You need to be like, I wonder if I want my hair short, period. There's no age involved because your hair, your self-expression should not have an age limit. Your self-expression should not have the little asterisk, the one that's like, here's my little disclaimer. Anything about your self-expression should not have an asterisk for having your age including on that. 100%. So Lynn, I'm telling you right now, if you want to cut your hair short, if you want to buzz your hair, if you want to dye it blue, 100% go for it. Don't worry about your age. Kelly Taylor says, hello, Lonni. Hope you're having a good day so far. Well, Kelly, it was a very challenging start to my stream. I went on and I realized that my stream was lagging and on my replay video. So I'm like, so then I had to, thank you for my little finger heart, Mari. So I had to interrupt Robert on his stream, and I hate doing that, but he came out, he helped me. And then I went shopping yesterday and I got a blue lipstick. I got the, the KVD blue lipstick. And yes, you will see a video of me with blue lips. I love the dark blue. Absolutely love a dark blue lip. But what I didn't love is that I put it on and then it started kind of like flaking. And it was like, you could see like my lip in blue, and then it smudged a little bit, and it looked like somebody punched me in the mouth. So I'm really bummed about this. So I am going to take this one back and I'm going to try the MAC blue lipstick. So I'm not giving up on, oh, thank you, Courtney, you're so sweet. So I am not giving up on the blue lip. I'm going to be doing a video, like a little short on showing my blue lip, but I just need to find a different brand. Again, this one just didn't work for me. It kind of flaked off, but I'm obsessed with a blue lip. And that goes to experimenting. And it's like, I don't look at it like I'm 58. I almost said I was 57, but I'm not. I'm 58. I'm 58 years old. And if I want to play around with lipsticks and lip color and I want to try a blue lip, you know what? I'm sure as heck going to do it. And I'm not going to let anybody stop me from my journey of self-expression, just the way it is. So I went shopping yesterday, like I told you all I was going to do. And I went all the way down to Fashion Valley in San Diego. And black lipstick with shimmery blue eyeshadow makes cool blue lips, a cool blue lip. That is a very cool idea. I always forget that you can blend like a glossy lipstick with different shades. And if I don't like that MAC one, I'll definitely do that. Yes, oh my God, a chromatic. I'm obsessed with layering those. Okay, well then I'll have to try something like that because I'm not giving up on my blue lip. So I went down to Fashion Valley and I don't want to do a whole lot of spoiler alert because I am going to be doing some videos, but I found a Free People store. I found a Free People movement store, and then I found a Doc Martens store. So I did 3 videos yesterday, and I am going to be putting all of those down. Now, it is going to be Memorial Day. I told you that it's going to be a 3-day weekend for a lot of people. And the sales are starting. I'm telling you right now. So I'm going to give you a little tip on if you want to go and get some stuff this weekend, how to do it online. But Lauren says it's probably because it's a liquid lipstick, which is long lasting and dries on your lips. Yes. And you know what, Lauren, it was, and I expected that, and that's perfectly okay. But it didn't, it was like it was too dry. It was almost like paint was chipping off of my lips. So I was thinking, like, do I need to add it more to like a different liquid lipstick? Do I need to put on like a gloss first and then put that on over the top of it? So if you have any suggestions on that, let me know before I return it. And I mean, I'll keep on experimenting, but it was just, like I said, I didn't mind the actual like the long lasting lip. It just don't peel off like paint. That's all I can say about that. So, okay. Memorial Day weekend shopping tips. For Free People, here's what I'm doing for Free People. Now, you may or may not know, but I have their app on my phone. So I can shop from my phone on their app. And typically on holidays like this, like the 3-day weekend or something like that, they will put their sale items on an additional sale, or they'll be like, hey, you know what? We're going to put this group of clothes on sale. But typically, most of the time, it is their sale items. So what I do in anticipation of that is I'll do all my shopping prior to Memorial Day weekend. So today, I'll go through all of their sale items on their app, and then I'll put them in my cart. So that way, once their additional 25% off comes, I'll just check out, and I already have everything there, because believe it or not, when they go on sale like that, they go out fast. So if you want to do any pre-shopping for Free People, I definitely say download their app, go through their sale items, put everything in your cart, and then once they have their additional 25% off, bam, you're good to go. That is how I would suggest it. And you know what? That again is my suggestion. Now, Nordstrom Rack has like an additional 25% off of their clearance items. If you are part of their Nordy Club, you can shop now. If not, it starts at 9 o'clock tonight online. And then also too, Macy's has an additional 25% off of some of their sale items. So just those particular places, I say check those out, especially for the Free People items. And that's just my little shopping tip for your 3-day Memorial Day weekend. Now, Lauren says, maybe try lip balm together. Your lips are smooth, and maybe use a lip scrub before using it, which will get the dead skin off your lips. Yes, I bought that lip scrub from e.l.f. at Old Navy, and I haven't used it yet. Hello, Holly. Haven't seen you on here for a while. Hello, Holly. Just so y'all know, Holly was my original moderator back when I first started TikTok. So hello, Holly. So I do have that lip scrub and I'm going to try that. And I mean, to me, it was like, I was thinking like maybe I needed to primer my lips, but I think I need to do the exact opposite and actually moisturize my lips more. So maybe what I'll do, can you send links through this chat? No, you can't do links on the YouTube chat. They'll block that just because they didn't want, they just don't want that happening. But I do have all the links of everything I talk about in the description. So Memorial Day and all sorts of good sales coming on. Now, I do want to show you something. Lip scrub, lip balm, then lipstick. Got it. Got it. And I will try that again. I'll try that again tomorrow morning before I come on because tomorrow is Friday and we have Q&A Friday tomorrow. And I'm super excited and looking forward to that. Courtney says, I want to send you the perfect blue lip. I'll do it through Facebook. Perfect. I love it. So let's see. What was I talking about? Wow. Okay. So I just got a news flash and everything in the news is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now. Did you know? Okay. Super bummed. Super bummed. And I'm sure you've heard this, but Tina Turner passed away and I was so upset. I actually shed a tear. You know, she's been such an inspiration for me. She was such a beautiful soul, such a strong woman, and it really upset me when I found out she passed away. And every morning before I start live, I always play music, and I'm usually playing like some sort of disco music, but what I started playing this morning was Tina Turner. And I just want to, you know, we get inspiration from all sorts of different people, and she really has inspired me a lot through my life. And I just, you know, like I said, she was a beautiful, strong woman, and it broke my heart that she passed away. So here's to you, Tina, and thank you for all the inspiration that you gave me throughout my life. So another thing I want to show you is I am wearing a back brace. I mean, I'm wearing a hoodie too because it's freezing cold in California. It's only like 60 degrees. But look at this little back brace. It's not even so much a back brace. It's like it makes me hold my shoulders back. And I want to show you this because it's a part of me and how I'm trying to age gracefully. Let's just put it that way. So I have been noticing here lately, and it's really been bothering me, but I've been noticing that I've been slunching over. All right. That's one of the reasons I started the gym almost a year ago, is because I thought I had really bad posture and I wanted to strengthen my core. So I have been strengthening my core, and I do find that I was standing straighter, but I was still rolling my shoulders. All right. I was still doing this, and I could see it in my videos. I would do a short, I would record something and I'd be like, Lonni, oh my gosh, stand up straight. You're driving me crazy. And I was really worried that I was going to get to that point where I was just going to be so hunched over that I wasn't going to be able to correct it. So I went on Amazon and I found this like little apparatus. It's really super soft. And what it does is it's making me pull my shoulders back. And you just adjust it and you just put it on. And I did it a little tight there. And I just wanted to show you. And I wanted to show you that, you know what, with age, sometimes we have to make an adjustment and we have to do things. But that doesn't mean that we just have to sit there and throw the towel in and be like, well, I guess I'm just going to be hunched over now. No, you know what? You can. I wanted to show you the things that I do in motivation and to just let you know I'm not embarrassed by being 58 years old and having horrible posture. So I am going to be holding my shoulders back. Now, I'm hoping, in theory, looking buff, show those guns off. Yeah, you know what? Robert has me working, lifting weights every morning. And that's another thing. It's like I go to the gym and I lift weights and I really feel like I'm like making a huge difference in my physique, and then I was hunched over. And this isn't really so much an age thing. It's like a just a habit thing, because now I wasn't being a looky-loo at the gym, but I was just kind of checking out other people's posture. And there was a lot of younger people who were hunched over like that. And me in my mom mode, I felt like running up to him being like, honey, stand up straight, throw your shoulders back. So if you find yourself and like kind of hunched over or having back problems, then you know what, think into like, look into something like that. Because I have to tell you, I mean, I got this yesterday and I put it on, and it was the weirdest thing, because it was like, it felt really good and it hurt all at the same time. And it's kind of like, just my back is kind of like, oh yeah, no, that's okay. My lower back doesn't hurt as bad. And I find, like, because I'm always editing, that I was just, So anyway, long story short, this is what I have on. And again, I am not embarrassed that I have to do things in order to make my physique the way I want it to. And so if you're out there and you want to throw your shoulders back, it was like $20 and I really like it. So there you go. And it makes me feel like, I don't know, I feel kind of like a gladiator maybe. And because you know how like they had on their vests, I don't know why I said gladiator, but it makes me feel good that I am standing here. You know, my energy's better. I'm just like, wah. Thank you for the follow, Jane. Back again, 836. Thank you for the follow. You know, and again, like I said, just standing up straight, having a good posture, having good energy, because I don't want to be, I want to walk into a room and just be like, here I am. I got good posture and blue lips. I mean, in a perfect world, that's what would happen on a daily basis. So one more thing that I saw in the news, and then we're going to move on to our Doc Martin part, is I saw, okay, so this is going to kind of have a story time also. So settle in, all right? So I saw on the news about these people who were visiting Yellowstone. And if you don't know what Yellowstone is, it's a huge national park in the United States that has buffalo. Now, you know, you kind of interact with the wildlife. I mean, buffalo, you see all sorts of TikToks, you see all sorts of videos where the buffaloes are walking down the street and people are like, oh, there's a buffalo. Okay, so now you know. So I saw the headline and it said that baby bison, which is a baby bison had to be euthanized because of an interference of a park visitor. So instantly I got so angry. I'm like, leave those buffalo alone. Stop messing with the bison. You know, some lady got gored the other day, or like last year, because she got too close to the buffalo. So I'm like getting really upset. And I'm like, no, why people, why? Stop interfering with nature. And then I decided to read the story. Okay. Now the story is that this guy was in his car, or he was like looking at the buffalo, and the little buffalo herd was going across a river. And there was a baby little bison, and the baby bison wasn't making it, couldn't get back up on the shore. And he went over and he helped the bison out of the river. He saved the baby. All right. So what happened is since he interfered with nature, the herd rejected the baby bison, and then Yellowstone euthanized it. So then I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, Lonni, what would you have done? And I'm telling you right now, I don't think I could have sat in my car and watched a baby buffalo or a baby bison lose its life in the river. You know, but part of me is like, we're supposed to leave nature alone. And then part of me is like, I just couldn't do it. So I want your thought on this. I mean, could you have sat there and just been like, well, nature needs to take its course? Or would you have or would you have jumped in? And Courtney, 100%. I was talking to Robert about this in the gym today. I'm like, they have Buffalo Rescue. They have places that they could have taken the little baby bison to grow up and been like in a petting zoo or something. And to me, I was really upset that they just euthanized the baby. And so, but it comes to the point where it's like, it comes to the point where I'm like, oh, but I 100% had to retract my first initial anger of him interfering with nature, because I too would have jumped in and probably drowned, but I would have tried to save the baby buffalo. So that is what I said too. There's one in Colorado. Yeah, Terry, you see, that's just the whole thing. It's like, to me, I felt it was almost like, were they making a statement? It's like, you mess with our animals and we're going to kill the babies. I mean, who was in charge that was like, kill the baby? I mean, who does that? Especially in today's world. I mean, with social media and everything, you would be like, hey, this is Yellowstone talking. Bye, Holly. I have to go to work. It was so nice seeing you. I love you, Holly. Thank you very much. And it was like, who was in charge? Who made that decision? And I just think that they should have done something else besides off it. And so Courtney says 100% save the baby. Kelly says 100% save the baby. Why shoot it? Exactly. Sandra says, I would have saved it too. Absolutely. And you know what? So I no longer could be angry at that park visitor, because I don't think I could have. Which brings me to my story. I had totally forgotten about this until I was again telling Robert about this story on the way to the gym. But let's go back in time. All right. I am in the 6th grade. And back when I was in the 6th grade, we were still in elementary school. And I was in a classroom with a really cool teacher. His name was Mr. McMillan. And he was this kind of cool teacher where we actually had free weights in our classroom. And during, like, between lectures or study time or whatever, you could go in the back of the room and you could lift free weights. Believe it or not. This was in the 70s, y'all. So I remember I could bench press my own weight. I mean, I only weighed like 50 pounds, but still, when you're 50 pounds and you're bench pressing your own weight, it's pretty impressive. So he was a really very unorthodox kind of teacher. Very cool, but kind of unorthodox. And we had a snake in the classroom. And it was like, I don't know, like a gopher snake or something like that. It wasn't a poisonous snake, but it was a pretty big snake in an aquarium. And I was always just like, I don't want anything to do with this snake, because you know what? I'm not super scared out of them, but I'm not like, hey, I want to go up and pick up a snake. So I'm sitting there, and he always, you know what? He always, for some reason, it seemed like he always fed the snake when we weren't in class. But one of the boys in class on the way to school somehow found a bunch of baby gophers. Do you know where I'm going with this? So he comes to school and he's got like this little, like 3 or 4 little baby gophers, okay? And the teacher was like, oh, cool, let's feed him to the snake. And I'm like, no. And I remember sitting there and he's all like, plunk, and he puts him in the snake cage. And I'm like, ah! Now, mind you, again, I was always the smallest in class. I was super small. I didn't eat well. And I had super long piggy tails. So that was me in the 6th grade. So I'm sitting there at my desk. I'm like, no. This can't happen. And I still remember I couldn't study. Not that I studied very much anyway, but I couldn't even pay attention because I was so worried about those baby gophers. So comes recess time. All right. Everybody goes out to the playground. Teacher goes to the teacher lounge. You know, everybody's supposed to be doing what they're doing except for me. And I am like on a mission impossible. I had the theme song going in my head and I'm like, do. And I go off the playground. I sneak back to the classroom, somehow get in the classroom with nobody in there. And I am face to face with this snake, and here's the baby gophers. All right. Snake hasn't eaten them yet, but he's about ready to. And I'm like, what are you going to do now, Lonni? What are you going to do now? So I remember I'm like, I have to save the baby gophers. I have to do it. And I'm sitting there. Oh, thank you for my hat. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I swear to you, I mustered up every single ounce of bravery I had. And I stuck my hand in the snake cage, snatched out those baby gophers, and saved them. So now I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, I got a handful of baby gophers. The snake is staring at me like, what are you doing? And I'm supposed to be at recess. So I'm like, what am I going to do now? You know, I didn't have any pre-planning. I did not think this one all the way through. So I put them in my lunch pail and I'm like, I'm going to take them home and I'm going to raise them as my own in my closet. And I got to tell you, I think they might have lived for a day, maybe 2 days, and then they didn't live. I mean, they ended up passing away. I really did try my best to mother those little baby gophers into gopher adulthood, but it made me just flash back to this poor guy must have been standing there knowing that he could have save that little baby bison. And it reminded me of being in the 6th grade saving those baby gophers. So as much as I know he wasn't supposed to, you know what, dude? Thank you for trying. I know you didn't have any malicious intentions. Yes, we're supposed to let nature take its course, but as far as I'm concerned, take its course when I'm not watching. Because I really seriously, even though my adult Lonni knows that snakes need to eat and that's what they eat, I couldn't do it. And it was just, I don't know. If that doesn't sum me up in a nutshell, I don't know what does, because I basically have lived my life to that moral code ever since I was a kid. So Linda says, oh my God. Kelly says, no, I would have lost my mind and my parents would have had to have called. Yeah. You know what? My mom got really mad at me when she found out that I had dead baby gophers in my closet for some reason. And Courtney says, of course you did. You are my kindred spirit, I swear. Yeah. And that's just the whole thing. And you know what? I wouldn't have changed a thing. I mean, probably if I could go back in time, I would have told that one little boy to leave the baby gophers alone and just let them do their thing instead of bringing them into the classroom. But, you know, he did, and I did my best to save them. Sandra says, I don't know how nature photographers watch those things. You know what? Truthfully, neither do I. And I talked to Robert, again, on the way to the gym, we were talking about that. And I don't like to, Linda, I don't like to see animals get hurt either. It's like, even like when I'm scrolling through social media, if I see like, you know, they always seem to have like a good ending, but it's like, oh my gosh, I found this very emaciated dog that hasn't been treated well, but it now has a good life. I can't even watch that because that dog had to have suffered to get to that point. And even though it's rescued and it's saved, I don't want to think about that poor animal suffering to get to that point. But I did talk to Robert about it because Robert, my oldest son, he's a field journalist for a nonprofit group that actually helps the stop poaching in Africa. So Robert's been out in Africa with rangers, you know, watching nature happen. And he's just like, you cannot interfere. And so like looking at something like that, he sees the bigger picture, where when I see things like that, I'm just like, yep, that animal needs help. So the way he got over it is just by looking at the bigger picture of like the whole ecological animal world kind of thing. So hats off to him. He's much better at I am, because I would have like snuck away from the Rangers and gone out and saved something. And so like I told him this morning, I'm like, well, if I saw like a baby lion getting eaten by a snake, I would go hit the snake with a rock and save the baby lion. And he's like, well, none of that actually happens, Mom, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'm like, well, you know what I mean, right? You know I would do something. And so that's probably not my calling, but I 100% understand it. So let's get into the whole subject that we started about. So I just wanted to have some fun story time and do things a little bit different. But we are going to have a little bit of a story time in regards to Doc Martens and what age we are. And here, I'm going to start this off with a quote, because it's a really good quote that I got from a friend of mine. She posted it on Twitter. Her name is Lorraine C. Ladison, Ladish. Sorry, Lorraine. Lorraine C. Ladish. Really cool. She's like a year older than I am. She's this amazing, strong woman who is just making all sorts of strides for women over 50. But the quote is this. It says, aging seems to be the only available way to live a long life. Get it? Aging seems to be the only available way to live a long life. And this was originally a quote from Kitty O'Neill. So basically, if you want to live a long life, you're going to have to age. That's just, there's no other way around it. And the way I go into my social media, the way that I go into my life, and the way that I go into aging is 100%, I'm not going to apologize for being alive. I am not going to justify my existence for being alive. You know what? It's like, if you're not older, you're deceased. And y'all know I lost my sister when she was 47, and I guarantee you 100% she would have loved to have watched her daughter get married, and she would have loved to have seen her grandsons, and she would have loved to watch her son grow up. And that's just the whole thing. It's like she didn't get that option. And I did. I'm older than she is. I have no guarantee as to how long I'm going to be on this earth. And I'm not going to apologize for being here. And a lot of times when we get these negative comments, when we get told that we are too old to wear something, we are basically getting insulted because we're alive. And by me taking that philosophy, by me saying like, no, I am not going to apologize for my existence, it makes it so much easier for me when I'm picking out my outfits or figuring out what color I want to dye my hair or what color lip I'm going to wear. It makes it easier because I don't have to apologize for it. And it is so, so important that we remember that on a daily basis. Because again, looking at these comments, Doc Martens aside, just looking at comments in general, you have to understand that there is a complete, just with social media and society as it is the way it is today, there is just an immense amount of bullying happening online. All right. It has taken the bullying from high school or elementary school or whatever school you want to go to and just taken it to the next level. And I mean, I don't know if you all were bullied in school, but I was very heavily bullied because as a child, I was a furry child. Not only was I breaking back into classrooms and saving baby gophers, but I had a lot of like fur, I had a little mustache going on, kind of a unibrow thing working, and I had really hairy arms and legs. That's just it. I kind of looked like a little version of Cousin It. But I was a cute little furry girl. And so I got called monkey arms. I got called all sorts of things. And I would try to hide my arms and I would try to hide my legs. And so I remember that. And I just remember being like, wow, that's really rude. I don't mean to have this body hair, but I do. And so now that I'm an adult, I can own that. You know what? I can own the simple fact that if I have a little bit of a mustache going, a little bit of a peach fuzz, I don't care. And I think that it's really important that we take that power back, because once we stopped letting them get to us, then that's when we take our power back. Lauren says, I got bullied because I'm a natural redhead and no one liked my hair color. Plus I wore glasses. And you know what? And that's just the thing, Lauren, is redheads are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, with the fair skin and the red hair. But I get how it's like, it's almost like when you enter school, there's like a poster of like, if you're a guy, this is what you're supposed to look like. And if you're a girl, this is what you're supposed to look like. And if you don't look like either one of these, just be prepared to be mocked and made fun of. And it is heartbreaking. But what's heartbreaking is that kind of bullying is now happening in everyday life with everyday people. Connie says, I'm sorry you were bullied. I've experienced it too. Unfortunately, I'm sending hugs and love your way. Thank you, Connie. And the way I look at it is that, when it was happening, of course, it was really hurtful. But now I look at it as like it's made me stronger, because I will not give any of those people any of the power, 100%. So when people tell me that I'm too old for Doc Martens, the reason that they're picking on these shoes is because these shoes throughout history have been associated with and I wouldn't say through history. It's not like, like Abraham Lincoln was wearing Doc Martens. But ever since their existence, and especially in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were very much associated with youth, with punk rockers. In the 70s, they were like the working man or a student. And so Doc Martens are kind of like a youthful brand. And I remember when I started on social media, I just had bought myself a brand new pair of Doc Martens. I wore them back in the 90s, but I had since not really worn them. And I was showing my outfits, and people are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They're like, oh my gosh, she's wearing Doc Martens. And I'm like, yeah, was I not supposed to? And it was just this amazing thing. And then people started commenting. They're like, well, do you think you're too old for Doc Martens? I'm like, no, I don't think I'm too old. Then women started commenting. They're like, oh my gosh, I used to wear them in the 90s. I've been wanting to wear them, but I thought I was too old. And I'm like, you're never too old. So it's like any of these styles or trends or anything like that is associated with youth, which, by the way, 90% of that styles and trends and everything is associated with youth. When we over 50 gals start doing it, then it's all of a sudden that's what a bully can zero in on. Because trust me, a bully is going to bully regardless if it's you or somebody else. If I were standing there and I had a tan top on with tan pants and blending into a beige wall, somebody would tell me that my hair is too short, or that I have too many tattoos, or this or that. So it doesn't really matter what it is. A bully is going to bully. And 100%. Now, Linda says, I was bullied for having curly hair, for having freckles, and being chubby. See, I think curly hair with freckles and being chubby sounds adorable. So to me, it's again, if you don't match up to this just unobtainable ideology of what society says you're supposed to look like, you're going to be different. Linda says, I just about only wear Doc Martens now in winter at least. I have 10 pairs. I even wore black ones with painted white lace on them to my son's wedding. I love it. Claire said I had a stammer, was bullied so much. You know what? I actually had I had a speech impediment on top of being hairy. So I had to go to speech therapy through most of my childhood because I could not pronounce words. So I didn't have a stammer, but I did have a really weird way that I pronunciated a lot of words. And I still stumble over a lot of words today. You ever and Brandon would be like, why are you pronouncing it like that? I'm like, because that's the only way I know how. Let's see here. Would like to know what kind of foundation you use. Today I am using L'Oreal's Glow Foundation, and it's a little bit heavier than a BB cream, but that's what I'm wearing today. And I still am putting the underpainting for my blush. Okay, Sea Witch says, I'm 52 and just bought my first pair of Doc Martens last year. Awesome! I'm so tired of not wearing things I think are cute because of what someone else thinks. Absolutely. And so certain brands, certain styles are definitely associated with youth. But let's just really stop and think about it. Other than beige, nothing else real, and polyester, nothing else screams being mature over 50. So our ideology of if we wanted to fit in with society, we're given like maybe a handful of things that we can do. All right, here's your beige wardrobe. Try not to make direct eye contact and hold it down a little bit. And if you do that, you're totally accepted. And that's not me. Again, I've been the rebellious one. Oh, Laura Croft. This is what this reminds me of. I think it reminds me of, you know how Laura Croft had on that like really cool outfit? This is my Laura Croft back brace, y'all. So I, again, am just about breaking down those standards of, again, what we think we should or should not wear. So now I was in the Doc Martens store in San Diego yesterday, and now I love Doc Martens. Don't get me wrong on this one at all. This is no shade against Doc Martens, but they did have a sign up in their store. All right. And it gave a little bit of a history of Doc Martens. And I can see can I see the back of your brace? Yes. This is it right here. And it basically holds my shoulders together because I have a tendency to roll forward. And especially since I'm on the computer all day long, I'm on my laptop, I find myself hunching over like that. And it was driving me crazy. So I'm in the Doc Martens store. And it kind of gave a history of 4 of the boots. And the first one was the 1490 10i boot. It says the 1490 10i was first adopted by punks, goths, and scooter boys in the 70s. The distinctive style has been worn by countless other rebellious youth subcultures since. All right, right there. Doc Marten just said that it's been incorporated by Rhonda. I got it off of Amazon and I stuck the link. It's in my store, but you can just go on Amazon and just look for any soft back brace that's going to hold your shoulders back. And it's made a huge difference. I just got this yesterday I can already tell the difference. So Doc Martens, and I'm sorry, I love y'all. And you know, I have a really good relationship with Doc Martens, but that's in their store. They're saying that the 1490 10i boot has been worn by countless other rebellious youth subcultures ever since. All right. The 1468i boot says, this one was named after its birth. So I don't know if you know this or not, but the 1460 was actually launched on the April 1st, 1960. Get it? So it's 14. So it's the 1st of April, 1460, which I thought was interesting. And it says, the 1460 was the first boot to roll off our production line. Originally made for industrial workers, it has since been adopted by musicians, subcultures, and individuals all around the world. Cool. You know what? We'll give them a pass on that one because, again, they didn't say anything about the age. They just said that it's been adopted by different subcultures. So thank you, Doc Martens, for that. Now, the 2976 Chelsea boot, they said the first Doc Marten Chelsea boot was produced in the early 70s, but the style dates back to the Victoria age. The utilitarian style and elastic sides make this boot a classic. Yes, and I agree. I love my 1460s. And then it says the 1460 3-eye shoe. Our first shoe followed soon after the first boot. Originally made for the working man in the 70s and the 80s, the 1461 became popular with protesters and students. Today, it is embraced by a statement of self-expression across the globe. So you can see how it's like this brand, how Doc Marten kind of embodies like this rebellious kind of like, I'm a hipster, I'm a goth student and I'm all rebellious. Well, you know what? I am a 58-year-old who has always been rebellious, and I personally think that I should still be able to embody the style that says I'm rebellious. Because I got to tell you, if you're rebellious in your youth, you're going to be a rebellious when you're older. All right. If you, again, sneak back into a classroom to save baby gophers when you're in 6th grade, you would sneak back into a classroom when you're 58. You would still save baby gophers. So you don't lose that drive. You don't lose that oomph. You just don't do that. And so I'm like, okay, society, I'm still the same person I was when I bought my first pair of Doc Marten boots back in 1994. I'm just a little bit older because I remember when I bought my very first pair, Brandon was about a year, maybe a year and a half. And so I was a young mom, I had Robert and Brandon, and I just was like struggling for my identity. And then I remember I was walking through the Nordstroms in Riverside, and I'm like, with my little double stroller. This is the noise I made. And then I looked down and I'm like, those are the coolest boots I've ever seen in my life. And they were like a suede boot. And I'm like, I have to have these. This says who I am. So I picked them up and I looked at the price and I'm like, put them down, and I kept walking because even back in 94, they were over $100. So I'm like, but it kept on just like scratching at the back of my brain. And I'm like, no, but that's who I want to be. That's what I want to represent. That's what I want to tell the world. And so I ended up going back and ended up buying them. And I had 2 pairs and I wore them all the time. And I unfortunately lost them during my divorce, and I moved around a lot. And so I went back on Poshmark and I found those original pair of Doc Marten boots on Poshmark and I purchased them. So I have the exact same pair that I bought back in 94. But the point is that again, I'm still that rebellious girl. I'm still that young mom in Nordstrom's who's trying to find her identity, who has found it. And I still want to tell the world the same thing, regardless of my age. So Linda says, how can we be too old to wear them when working class people used to wear them for their whole working life? Exactly. But that goes back to, oh, cool. Norma No says, Docs originated in a town 20 miles from my house. See, that's so cool. And I see all the time, like people put down Doc Martens because they're like more mass produced. But I still think they're a good quality boot and they still represent a whole lot. And I've had my first pair that I bought back in San Francisco, like probably 8 years ago, and they still are perfect condition. What are those straps on your shoulders? Are they for posture? Yes, these are. showed this earlier, but what was happening is I was hunkering forward, and I'm on a mission to stand up straight because on top of everything else, on top of like just bending over like this, I have scoliosis in my back. So I have a curved spine right between my shoulder blades. So when I hunker over like that, or if I have like really bad posture, it does not feel good. So this is helping just pull back my shoulders. I've only had it a day and I absolutely love it. So again, going back to, I had a pair for 13 years before they wore out. Yeah, you know what? And that's, Linda, I mean, to me, it's like when my Doc Martens wear out, I'm going to buy a new pair. And I was at the Doc Martens store yesterday, and they just have so many colors and so many styles, and it's such a cool vibe. And it really makes me sad when I think about women out there or men who are like, I would love to incorporate that style. I would love to tell the world who I am, how rebellious I am, but I'm afraid to do it, or I think I'm too old. Because again, going back to this conversation that I have repeatedly, but we are not too old to just shine and to be bright and to be rebellious and to be loud and to be heard. So if you want those Doc Martens and you want to say that, I say do it. Now, again, I still embody the same spirit. So I'm going to continue to dress however I want. I am going to dress the way that tells the world who I am on a daily basis. Today, I'm telling the world that I want to be super casual and I'm going to walk to the grocery store later. So I'm in leggings and tennis shoes, but that's my vibe for today. Let's see here. I have a lot of Docs, but don't wear them because they are too uncomfortable. I like new rocks better. You know, definitely. And here's the thing about Doc Martens is like certain colors, certain styles are either super comfortable or they're super not. Now, my favorite pair of Doc Martens right at this particular moment are my black Jaden boots. Love them. I wear them all the time. Yesterday, I wore my white Jaden boots and my feet were screaming by the time I got back to my car. And it's just because one was a heavily over-dyed leather and the other one was a less dyed leather. One's softer, one's not. So to me, it's like, it really is going to depend on what style and what kind of leather that you're going to run across that. Absolutely. Jadens are more comfortable. You know, I always thought the Leona boot was the most comfortable. And those, I absolutely love the Leona boot. Something about the leather. But I had white Jadens, and then I have a pair of Hello Kitty Jadens. And those are two of the two boots that I have just struggled to break in. My black ones, wear them, and I wear them all the time. Are you wearing a backpack? No, Kelly, I'm wearing a back support to make sure that I am keeping my shoulders back, because what was happening, truthfully, what was happening, and one of the reasons why I'm wearing it today during my live is that I was getting up from doing my live stream and in immense pain because I was sitting here and I was hunkering over. And again, I have scoliosis in my back and I did not have good posture for the hour or so that I was live and I was suffering. So I've been standing up straight and I feel my back doesn't hurt yet. So that's one of the reasons why I am wearing this. So now we have figured out that Doc Martens, you can still wear Doc Martens at any age. You can, if you wore them in the 80s, you can still wear them. If you're in your 60s and you want to wear them now, definitely go try them and just see if you want that vibe. And here's what's going to happen. People are going to look at you and they're going to be like, well, you're too old for that, because I get told that. But people are bullies. Bullying right now is rampant. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because it's extremely important that we realize that we can't let them stop us. We cannot let bullies win. We cannot let people dictate how we are going to live our lives, because it's coming down to either they win or we win. All right. It's like an us versus them kind of mentality right now. Vegan girl, your hair looks, your color looks great. Thank you. I love this blue. But it really comes down to, like, we have to stand up for people. Not only do we have to stand up for ourselves, but we need to stand up for people in general. All right. If you're over 50 and you want to have your own self-expression, you have to do it. You have to embrace it, not only for yourself, but you have to embrace it for a younger generation that is looking up to us. All right. Right now, I read somewhere that social media is probably one of the worst things for young women, because not only are you getting bullied in real life, but you're getting bullied on social media. All right. The pressure to be perfect, the pressure to fit in, the pressure of just everything is just overwhelming. And if they look to others for inspiration, if they're on social media and they see women our age apologizing for existing, what is it telling them? It's telling them that they don't have a chance. And we have to stand up, and we have to be loud, and we have to be bright, and we have to be bold, and we have to do something about that. Because you know what? I'm not going to change those bullies. They're not going to listen to this live and be like, gosh, you know what? Maybe I should stop doing that. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is that you're going to start thinking about your reaction differently. All right. You're going to stop giving those people the power that they so desperately deserve, or they so desperately are seeking with those harsh words. All right. They're validating their existence by taking your joy away. And you just cannot allow that. You know what? I have been alive for 58 years. I have been fighting for 58 years. I am not going to hand over my power to anyone, and especially bullies in real life or in social media. So I am extremely passionate about this subject. I'm extremely passionate about self-expression. I'm extremely passionate about the simple fact that we need to stop bullying each other. All right. I mean, I was on TikTok last night, I believe, and some newscaster somebody sent her an email stating that she shouldn't be on the air and she was overweight. And the email read something like, I don't usually watch your channel, but I happen to click on it, and I think you're overweight and you're setting a bad precedent for younger women. I mean, what made this person stop in their day and start and feel like he was entitled enough to send that email? You know, I don't get it. But she handled it very well. I mean, she called him out, and she set the precedent for the simple fact that she was able to show these young women that you don't have to just sit there and take it, because you don't. So I really, really, really hope that as a woman or a man, it doesn't matter, as a individual over 50, that we stop apologizing for being alive. All right. I see content creators all the time justifying their actions, and I need us to stop that. All right. If somebody comes at you and is like, you're too old to wear that, do not explain why you're wearing it. You owe nobody any explanation. The Shelter Dog Strong says the internet just made insecure, rude people brave behind the screen. Absolutely. But you know what? Not only that, I mean, we can blame this whole culture on the internet, but we have our culture right now, our society right now is a very angry society. All right. We have a lot of division. We have a lot of turmoil, and I get that. And I am not here to have like any sort of like deeper discussion on that. But it is our choice whether or not we're going to jump on the bandwagon or if we're going to be a beacon of positivity. If we're going to be like, no, you all can play in your own sandbox over there. I am going to be myself and I am not going to join your beep show. We need to start doing that. Linda says, don't let the bully wins get noticed. Absolutely. And again, like I'm saying, let's see here. Jess, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But that's just the thing. And it's like, I mean, and I hope I never, ever get repetitive. And I hope I never, ever get boring. But I just know that we have to make a difference. And so, yeah, I'm going to continue to wear Doc Martens and I'm going to continue to get tattooed. I'm going to continue to live my life in the most authentic way I can live my life possible. And if I make somebody uncomfortable and they say something rude, then this is me. I'm like, oh, cool. Thank you. My job's done for the day. I can go relax now. Because I'm here to make people uncomfortable. I'm here to start a conversation. I am here to show you that you don't have to fade away and you don't have to sit in the back seat of the car and you don't have to apologize again for you being you. So wear your Doc Martens, get your tattoo, wear your back brace, stand up straight. Hold on. I want to go back. Hold on. Because I saw this. Oh, I want to read this. Hold on. And then I swear that I don't know the nature, seeing animals, natural hair colors. Oh, I can't find it now. Anyway, chin up, chest out, back straight. That's how we have to go through life. 100%. Maribel, thank you very much. So I'm excited because you know what? I'm always excited because tomorrow is Friday Q&A. And if you don't know what Q&A is, it means question and answer. So tomorrow I'm going to start doing on Fridays is going to be all about questions. You can ask all sorts of questions and I will try to give you all sorts of answers. Now we are going to have a little bit of a parameter. There are things that I don't want to talk about. One thing I don't want to talk about is the world affairs. This is a place of positivity and inspiration. So we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about religion. We're not going to talk about things that are that people can have two different opinions on. And I'm not here to debate the opinions. I'm here to answer questions. And I just want it to be fun and inspirational. I mean, maybe we have a question that somebody will be like, oh my gosh, I've always wondered, how do you get your hair like that? Or, what would you wear to a wedding? Or something like that. But we're going to keep it fun, educational. I have questions across all sorts of social media channels. So I'm going to come prepared with some already asked questions. And then during the broadcast, then you can absolutely, jump on, ask your own questions that you've always been wondering. So long as we keep it polite and respectful, I will answer just about any question. Yes, I was a mischievous child. Yes, I didn't get in trouble very often. And you know what? I was really good at staying out of trouble, but you know what? And it was the 70s. I mean, it was just kind of like you raised yourself. It's so weird. It's like I look back at like my childhood and it was basically like, hello, Jake, my friend. And being a child in the 70s kind of reminded me of, what was that movie where the kids got, oh my gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Courtney, you're going to know this movie. It's where they crash landed. They're on an island and they started like their own little society and they like ran around and they had spears and stuff. It's not the Children of the Corn. It's another one. But anyway, it was kind of like the survival of, not Goonies, Jake. It was like survival of the fittest. And it was a really weird, movie. But that's kind of how it was in the 70s. I mean, you basically had to survive on your own because we were not micromanaged as a kid. Claire says, I've got bleach buzz, and even my friend said that style's about young for you. Okay, Claire, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this in the Lord of the Flies. Yes, thank you, Jake. That is exactly what I was going for. Growing up in the 70s was very Lord of the Flies. Now, Claire, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is kind of a harsh way to look at Friends, but it is a really important way. Nope, not Gilligan's Island. It was Lord of the Flies. I mean, it was like literally survival of the fittest. Okay, so Claire, if you have a friend who does anything other than support you for your individuality, you need to figure out that whether or not you want that person in your life. Because I'm telling you right now, if a friend of mine wore their hair a certain way or wore a certain outfit, I would support them in their style, regardless if I liked it or not. Now, if my friend came up to me and was like, what do you think about this outfit today? Then I would give them my honest opinion. But if my friend came walking in and they felt really pretty and they were wearing an outfit that they liked, it doesn't matter what I think. I'm there to support my friend so my friend can feel good about themselves. And if you have anybody in your life that is not supporting you in that manner, you really need to think about alienating yourself from that friend. Or at the very least, you need to speak up and be like, your words are hurtful. What you just said about my hair hurts my feelings. Because we have all these people in our lives who are telling us negative things, and then we just don't feel like we can say anything back because we don't want to hurt their feelings when they just hurt ours. So you have to absolutely 100%, if you still want to have this person in your life, set some clear boundaries about what their words are doing to you. Jake says, I always ask people how their look makes them feel. If they feel good, then that is good to me. Absolutely, Jake. It is all about just supporting each other in their own individual journey. And sometimes, and these hurtful words sometimes can come from members of our own family. And even in that case, we need to just be like, you know what, Aunt Sally, I hear what you're saying, and what you just said just hurt my feelings. And if anything other than, I'm sorry, I just hurt your feelings comes out of her mouth, is going to determine whether or not you're going to continue to be around her. All right? Family is not allowed to make you feel bad. Friends are not allowed to make you feel bad. And family hurt is horrible. Absolutely, Noni. I mean, that is the ones that absolutely run the deepest, because we expect our family to support us and we expect our family to nourish us. And when they don't, it hurts hard. But again, you have to remember you're super important and your feelings matter. And that's why, and let's just say Aunt Sally said something rude to you. And you go in, and if you go in on Aunt Sally and you're like, you know what, you're a jerk for saying that. You just did this and you just did that. She's going to get all defensive. All right. Aunt Sally's going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean I did this and I did that? So you're going to start this confrontation. What you need to do is you need to go in again with the words, Aunt Sally, what you just said made me feel really bad about myself. Aunt Sally, when you say things like that, it hurts my feelings. And that takes away the anger. That takes away like the I'm attacking you kind of verbiage. And it's extremely important. And take me as I am, or let me be. Absolutely. Send me on my way. Just let me be myself. But sometimes, again, when we start trying to communicate with our friends or our families or anything like that, we lose our ability to say it in a manner that's non-aggressive. So it's really important to listen to what comes out of their mouth. Again, if anything other than I am sorry, I hurt your feeling comes out of their mouth, you 100% need to take stock of that relationship and whether or not it is doing you any good. Jake says, is there a certain style, makeup, or fashion place that you've been wanting to try but feel nervous? No, honey, you know what? Truthfully, I've gotten to the point where, sometimes walking into like Sephora or Ulta Beauty sometimes can be a little intimidating. But I make myself do it. And I mean, yesterday when I was at the mall, I mean, I was like walking by these really fancy stores, and there were a lot of women in there doing this. As I walked by, and I'm like, screw you. I wouldn't want to shop there anyway. So it's not that they stopped me, but yeah, no. I mean, that's just the whole thing. It's I won't let anybody, I don't let anybody stop me. I mean, it might be a little, some might be a little bit scarier and some might be a little bit harder to do, but at the end of the day, I do it. And I do it more just to, I feel I do it more just to prove it to myself that I can do it than anything else. So, but that's what I do. I muster up all my courage and I stick my hand in the snake cage and I save those baby gophers. And if you don't think that I don't, that's going to be like my new mantra now. I'm going to be like, Lonni, save those gophers. You got it. You got it. Yep. Think about some questions for me tomorrow. It's going to be super fun. Like I said, I'm going to come in with some questions already prepped, but I will definitely be stopping answering yours in between the ones that I already have. And that is our live for today. Again, remember, the only time other people's opinions affect us is when we let them. Do not apologize for being alive. Do not justify your existence. Shine bright at whatever age you are and just embrace life. Life is too short not to enjoy it and have the best life possible. Period. End of story. So I, again, appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, be bright, be bold, be brave. Yes, I always slay. And I will see you all